See if this will do any better. Try not to fuck the box up in case we have to take it back. Oh, a little bit, a little bit. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking when they made that gasket. Junk. Just put our dials in there and see. These are way better, the Velcros. See how they got that metal ring? That will keep it from leaking. Velcro's always been the shiznit. You can actually get Velcro gaskets for big block Chevrolets in different numbers, like 1205, I think 1205, and 6s and 11s, and they're all for different CC runners. And you can actually use them for porting. But that does not apply for some cheap ass gasket like that. I watched a video the other night and the guy was porting one of these intakes with one of them gaskets. And it was scary. See there, that's more realistic to work with. It's still a little low down here, but it's up where it's supposed to be here. Alrighty then. Let's get some tools and get after it. Get the head out and do some comparing to that. You don't want to get all that greasy shit on that new gasket. Hang it a little bit. See if I can clean it up a little bit, and I'll turn you back on. We'll compare the ports. Shit, I was gonna make a whole video on porting it, but we may have lucked out and found the proper gasket to use for a guide instead of having to do a bunch of crazy shit. I watched the video the other night for a brief second just to see, you know, the guy was porting one of those 4.0 intakes and just seeing, and man, he was hogging some metal out of that thing, and I'm like, well shit, it shouldn't be that much of a difference. And now I know why, because he had the pace, I think he had that pace setter header too, because evidently he used that gasket, and now his gasket might not have been screwed up like mine, but who knows. He damn sure hogging some metal out of there. Less is more on this stuff. If you don't have high lift camshaft and you know you're moving a lot of air, you'll hurt yourself more than you're going to help yourself if you go cutting a lot of metal out of the cylinder head or out of the intake manifold. I've been around some old school drag race guys that had engine shops, old Superflow dynos with gauges on them. They have no damn digital computer, none of that shit. Like a big gigantic gauge about this big around that read horsepower and torque. Old guy's named Gary Johns out of Jacksonville, Florida, and he knew his shit. When you see him do port work, you would be amazed at a little bit of stuff that he did. Of course, he was running, you know, already bigger runner heads and all that stuff. You could do a lot to these heads, and we may get to do that one of these days. I can show y'all how to do that. Alright, we got that clean with carburetor cleaner. You don't want to get no grease on your gasket. You want that to stay clean as you can keep it. Still got a little bit of schmew on it, but alright, let's prop her up. and see how it matches up to this cylinder head. My cylinder head will be a little touch different, but not by much. Let's see what we got here. Boys, we have found the gasket. Velcro don't mess around. There's your part number. MS94790. Velcro. $15 from O'Reilly's. It is perfect. That's what you want to find. I don't know if we got lucky or just going by my instincts to go with Velcro, because they are pretty damn precise on their stuff. Now, let's see if we can go slow. My buddy David told me this might help if I go slower. Now, look at that. Absolutely perfect. Now you see the little lip. Let me get something to point here. You see the little lip here. That's the floor of the port. You don't want to mess with that on a cylinder head. You want to leave that be. So that's all good. Now we need to remember this on the bottom side of the gasket for the intake manifold. So what you want to do is, basically, from the way it looks, is eyeball it on the intake manifold. You can measure it. You can take something the width of that, pencil wise, pen wise, whatever, and draw a thickness of that away from the gasket on the intake manifold. That way you come up close to that there on the bottom. The roof is dead nuts. Dead nuts on. I mean, it's perfectly flush. There's not even a thou there. Directly out. So now all we got to do is take this out, lay it on the intake manifold. You know, intake side will be this side. Lay it on the intake manifold. Trace this out and see what we got. But that is a good damn fit. And most of these heads are going to be pretty much the same. Alright. I'm liking that so far. Okay, we're going to lay it down. Intake down. Good old greasy back over here in the corner. They make it, you know, when you read about port matching an intake manifold, they make it seem complicated and it's long and strung out and there's all this grinding to do, and there's really not. When we was building motors, we didn't have much time to do all that shit. We get in trouble over there on the porting table doing that shit for hours. You only want to do it the same as the port, and that's it. And you only want to go in about an inch, half an inch. Intake. I'm trying to make all my videos today on a Friday. You know, got a honeydew weekend. Y'all know how it is. See, that would be the head. This would be There ain't much to this. I knew there wouldn't be. Alright. We've got our imaginary mark in our mind for the bottom of the intake manifold. That's right. That is a damn good fit. So we know that we've got all you want to do is get something to scratch. A scratch all works best, like a you know, a scratcher, a scribe. Tell you what, do it like this. This ain't the best color choice, but it's all I got right now anyway. Shit, same damn color. Let's do it like this and see if we can see it. Black would be better, but I don't want to go out to my van right now. That didn't fucking work. Anyway, guys, in case I forget to tell y'all and I lose the box next time, MS94790 is a perfect match. Alright, I don't know where I left off, where I started. It's later in the evening. I got some grub. Let's try this shit again. Alright, we know our intake, well, we know our gasket's damn near perfect. Get the proper things set it up that y'all can see. Maybe. Let's use just in case. There's another use for it. That better? That's better. Okay, we can see the last 3-4 ports. We got our dial pins. know the gasket fits the head perfectly. All you gotta do is trace out your. I'm gonna start on this side. I'll be working that way just because it's easier for me to hold it. Coming to you here in a second. Use this gasket. I showed you the part number 2. This will be a breeze and self-explanatory. You watch a lot of hot rod stuff like hot rod TV and horsepower TV and things like that. This port matching doesn't really do a whole lot, but like I said on the other videos, every little bit helps when you got a stock cam and 200 horsepower and you're trying to get a little bit more. It ain't gonna hurt as long as you don't overdo it. Now we can pull our gasket out, put it in the box, put it up a safe place where it don't get crinkled or bent, and that's all we're removing. We know the outside of that marker is the gasket and is the outside of the head, because we know from looking at it on the head that it was all lined up perfectly. Now this area here, the red's kind of messing with it, ain't it? Let's go in slow. It's very little metal to come out of there. You know, y'all are on this port. Yes, okay. All you want to do is take a burr bit or a sandpaper roll, go out to the edge of that mark here. Now we know on the bottom that we were kind of proud with metal coming up out of the head, and it was about the thickness of that line, that marker line. So you're only really looking at that little bit right there, this little bit over here, and that's it. And what we wanted to do in here for the injector. So we'll make a mark up in here. You know, we'll come up in there just a little bit with, just kind of clean that up a little bit. But really, guys, you see what I see. Those things are pretty matched up pretty good already. So all of that talking about porting it and all that stuff, it's really done pretty damn good already for the factory head. They did a good job on it. You don't see that on the aftermarket intake manifold. But I'll get my stuff out. We'll clean this area up right here, just that little bit, a little bit over here. We're going to leave the floor alone because we want to not mess with the floor of the runner. And see how it turns out. Let me get some supplies, get my stuff out, and we will see if we can make some noise. Back it up. Might do some fast forward action on this if I can figure out how to do it on the editor. $7 at Harbor Freight, 80 and 100 grit. Let's see how they work. Alright guys, I got y'all set up in a different location. We're going to be working right there. So I'm going to go take a little bit out of there. Let's see if I can zoom you in. It's going to be louder over here too because you're right by the air conditioner. There is not much to do other than that. Let's see. If it blurs out, I'm sorry. We haven't tried to do this yet. I'll have to perfect a little technique. But these right here, the burr bits, are the shit. But they're quick. You got to be really confident of where you're cutting at. First thing we're going to do, there's our lip we was talking about. We're going to come up in here. It's basically just knocking the edge off of it when you're on your mark. That's it. Let me back y'all up. Let me rough them all out and then we'll hit it with the paper roll. There ain't gonna be not much to this. We'll go across here and I'm gonna hit all my radiuses up in here, knock the edges off, and then we'll come back around and do this. I know that was noisy, but all we really removed was that edge. I'm going to get the paper roll. I'm going to clean these up with the paper roll back about an inch in there. You can feel it, the flatness right here. That's all you want to mess with. Let's get the paper roll on it and see how that goes. Concentrate on that port right there. Guys, there ain't nothing to this. This is nothing like doing that intake gasket. Pretty much. If you just go in here and take the edge off, you'll feel that edge. Just take that off and you're golden. Let's see here. That was loud. Alright, let's see where we're at. I think we're good. Alright, let's work on something else. Now, this area. I don't see much more improvements by going any further with those ports, but this bump, see that bump? It's on all of them. You got to pay attention to how much metal you got there thickness wise. We got about 1/4 inch. Alright, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over there. I'm not going to put y'all through the torture of all that racket again. I'm going to lay that bump down because that's in the roof of our port. You also got a bump sticking out on this side, but you don't know how thick that is. To be honest with you, this is really all you need to do, is what we just did. There really ain't nothing to it. If you get the correct gasket that I showed you, the Felpro gasket, it's going to be damn close. And if we're, if you're not turning 7,000-8,000 RPMs, you're not going to see any difference by opening that up. You match it to the head and leave it alone, and we are damn close to the head right here. So you could just about take a damn deburr, go around this edge on the whole thing, and it brings it right out to where it needs to be. Yours might be a little bit different than mine turned out, because they usually are, but we're right on the edge of that line, and all I did was hit it that little bit I just showed you. But I'm gonna go back over there, and make some noise, and I'm gonna work on all these bumps right here, and we'll see how that looks, and you can compare it to yours. You need to pay attention how much steel, how much aluminum you got right here between the injector boss and that, and there is a pretty good bit of thickness there. I'm gonna go work on that, and I'll come back when I get them done. That way you don't have to listen to it screaming. That's all she gets, boys. Took me about 30 minutes, maybe. Oh, the Harbor Freight, we knew it was going to happen. The Harbor Freight mandrel done. But we were able to clean up our ports right here, smooth them out. Our gasket's matched. That's all there is to it, guys. There ain't much to this. There's no reason to glamorize it, because that's all there is to it. There ain't much to it. I say knock the burr off the edge here with something, a deburr, a Dremel, something, whatever, and let it rip, because it's pretty damn close already. You're not going to gain a bunch of power from doing it. We cleaned it up to the lines. We fixed our edges up here that we wanted to get them all out of there, and that's all there is to it. We're ready to put it back on. It's late at night tonight, and I'm not going to go any further with it. But you do know, I gave you all the gasket part number. Just get this gasket, and it's a direct match to the head, and then all you want to do is open it up to what this is if you want to go that far. I don't see any reason to do it. You might want to clearance up here for the full oil injector like we talked about, get that edge off of it. Maybe radius this little hump up a little bit here. There's more here to be done up in here. There's more to be done there than there is around in this port. All I did was just took them down a little bit, kind of evened them out a little bit, and that was it. It's ready to go. There's no reason to do anything else to it. So, next video, we're going to be putting it together. I know it's not, I know, you know, some of y'all might say, that's not in depth, that's not enough. Trust me. You can take my word for it. That's all you need to do to this. If it had big ass cam and a Edelbrock head with the bigger ports and stuff like that, you can get in there and work it, massage it out to be the same size as the port in the Edelbrock head. But it's so close matched to what's in there now, there's really not much to do to it. All you're going to do if we make it too big is you're going to slow down the airflow going into the cylinder, and we talked about that, and you lose torque and you lose power. It just needs a smooth transition in there. It's engineered to work the way it is. And you would think, yeah, if you open this up bigger, it'd suck more air and all that. Yeah, it will suck more air, but it's going to be slow moving air, which doesn't work as good as fast moving air. If you don't believe me, read some books on it. But she's good to go. We're going next video, we're going to be putting the header on it, putting the intake manifold on it with the bored out throttle body, with the methanol injection, get her back running, and get in the woods, and maybe get some tires ordered. Alright guys, y'all have a good one. We'll holler at you later. If you got any questions, holler at me, I'll answer them. But it's basically that. If you got the right gasket to match it to the head, there's not much work to do, and this gasket is a damn good match. For this intake anyway. I don't know about the old style intakes. I don't remember. It's 2 years ago when I did my other one. And that's it, man. Down and dirty. Get her done. Well, y'all take it easy and have a good one. We'll holler at you later.